Hello and welcome back to the Level Cap Podcast, your podcast for level 99 games, etc. Maybe.
Welcome.
Of course, I am your host, Marco De Santos, and with me is my adjective co-host, Brad Dalton Jr.
I'm the level 99 games. You're the etc. maybe.
That's technically true. Are you like the
Maybe.
Are you the face of level 99 games? If level 99 games was personified, would it just be you?
Well, yeah. I have to. I'm the public face of the company. I mean, that's kind of how it is when you run a small business.
Okay. So, Brad, tell me, how's your day been? I mean, like, of course, you've just woken up, so...
Well, I woke up. I sent Linda off to work, and then I had some cinnamon swirl bread, and I opened a canned coffee, and I sat down, and I started talking to you, and that's been my day.
Wow, your day is pretty short, because my day's been...
Well... Yeah, with our time zones, it's quite a lapse. It's like midnight for you now, right?
It's almost midnight, and like, you have to understand, Brad. This means that I'm always technically 12 hours ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
Which means...
Yep, you gotta wake up pretty early to beat Marco De Santos.
Yeah, because I'm there in the middle of the night, awake when you're not. Which means I have more time than you? Question mark? Maybe?
Well, 12. You'll 12 hours more. It means you're gonna die 12 hours sooner than me.
Oh. Okay, great.
Yep.
Wow. If at least it's just 12 hours, Maybe you can like. Hey, look, I can always.
It's like totally irregardless of age. You're gonna die 12 hours earlier.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's like. Like you'll be 1,000-something years old, and I will always die just 12 hours before you do. And at that point, I can at least take eternal solace in the fact that the moment I get into board game heaven, you'll be there 12 hours later, and we can play a game of Exceed or something.
You will have already had time to finish a game of High Frontier.
No. Or maybe like 2 games of Mage.
Although
Wars.
I don't know if they play that one in board game heaven. That might be the other place.
Oh.
Do you know High Frontier?
No. Is it?
This is. Oh man, this game. It was designed by like an aerospace engineer, and
okay.
It's you run a space exploration company, and your job is to get humans onto Jupiter, but you have to do things like calculate how much water you're going to need for the trip, and buy that water on Earth, and like plan to land on moons so you can acquire and mine more water and carbon and stuff to refuel your rockets to get to, and it's like this giant spreadsheet equation. It's pretty insane.
So it's hell on Earth, is what you mean?
Perhaps, yeah. And like by the time your rocket gets to like Mars, like Earth has already developed new technologies, so you really just need to send home discoveries on Mars so you can build another rocket that'll actually get you to Jupiter.
Wait, what?
It's a pretty wild game.
Wait, are you telling me that you have to plan ahead so that when you get to Mars, you need to build another rocket on Mars just to get to the other planet?
No, not on Mars. Not on Mars.
Okay.
But you might want to like leave survivors on Mars so that when you send your more advanced rocket, they can be picked up. I haven't played it, so I've seen people play it. I just know that the amount of water you carry with you is an important consideration. Because the more water you carry, the worse your ship performs in gravity, and stuff like that. Like those are the kind of considerations you have to make.
Oh, but to be fair, Brad, on Board Game Geek it says the playtime is only 3 hours.
Yeah, well, you don't factor in the teaching time.
I think that's an absolute lie. It's kind of like saying BattleCon only takes half an hour to play.
Yeah, well, it does when you're playing it with experienced players, but. There you go.
Oh, that...
I mean, when you sit down and play a game with Charles, it's only going to be 5 minutes long, because he'll beat you on beat 2.
Oh.
But yeah, he comes all the way from Sweden to play BattleCon every year in Gen Con. Like, that's how into this game he is. And it's really cool for me as a designer to know that I have fans that would travel the world to play this game. Like, that's It's really flattering to me.
You know,
So, if you listen to this, Charles, thank you. Thank you for coming out and playing Battlecom with us.
Yeah, Charles, you're awesome, And you have shown the entire world how awesome Tatsumi is. Dang, Tatsumi. Anyway. Well, your day's been great. I had a lot of work to do, and I'm so tired, but it's always refreshing to start a podcast with you, even in the middle of the night, Brad.
Aw, you as well, Marco.
Alright, so let's move on to our Game Club game of this week, which we have predetermined.
Even though our families could never accept each other, I accept you.
Oh,
I believe in you.
Senpai.
Marco, we have to be together. To podcast.
The podcast gods demand it. And there, we're here. Oh, wow. Who knew? Who knew this?
Maybe this entire segment should be cut. Let's just move on.
Let's move on to our Game Club game of this week. And our Game Club game of this week is...
Enter the Gungeon.
Enter the Gungeon.
That's not even the theme song. So anyway, this is a game where you are this guy with a gun, and it's a roguelike, and you shoot guys, and then they die, and then you get more guns, and then you go deeper into the dungeon. And everything's a gun in this dungeon. The enemies are like bullets, and there's there's all kinds of ridiculous guns. There's like, you can get the plasma blaster from Ghostbusters. You can get like a t-shirt cannon. You can get like a toy pop gun. Like all this ridiculous stuff.
They have a gun that shoots guns. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's great. Oh man, it's so good. But anyway, so Enter the Gungeon. It's like a hybrid between a roguelike and a twin stick shooter.
It's kind of like a Binding of Isaac, right?
Yeah, it's a lot like Binding of Isaac, but I like Gungeon even better because I thought Binding of Isaac was cool, but kind of gross. I like the theming of Gungeon, like the humor in Gungeon is a lot better than it is in Isaac.
Yeah, filled with memes. I love how how referential the guns can get. There's a super Meat
yeah,
Boy
like all
gun.
the guns are every famous gun is in there.
Yeah, they have a BFG.
There's a golden gun from GoldenEye that kills everything in one shot, just like in GoldenEye 007.
Exactly. And of course they have some more of the iconic guns, like Mega Man's hand cannon blaster thing. I love the game. It's way more skill intensive, I think, than Binding of Isaac is.
I don't know about that. I think they're probably on an even level in that sense. The difficulty definitely ramps in these roguelikes, and that's the fun of it. And then for those not familiar with the roguelike formula, you have one life, and when you die, you have to go back to the very top of the dungeon and try all over again. But if you beat a couple of bosses, then you unlock new items, and the new items will appear in future runs through the dungeon. So the pool of items you're drawing from gets better and better and better. And that will also help you to make progress, as well as your skill. Mainly it's skill intensive to make progress.
Yeah, mainly it's skill intensive. Especially like in Gungeon, I feel like a lot of the... Because it kind of... Oh, here I go again. I'm going to compare something to Dark Souls. It feels kind of like Dark Souls, because mostly because of the invincible role you have. And I think what's really great about Gungeon and the way they design their difficulty curves is that basically the game turns into a bullet hell. Like if you thought fighting the Hush in Binding of Isaac was bullet hell, like level 3 bosses in Gungeon are just literally like, I don't know, insane. Like Japanese shmup shooter levels kind of bullet hell. And it really only works if you ever use your invincible dash/dodge to get through any of the bullets. And I think knowing when to dodge and knowing, which direction,
when to bomb.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's really, really skill intensive. And I guess that's why I like it. And at the same time why I hate it. Because when I die in Gungeon, it's mostly my fault.
Yeah, no, I mean it's the games. The games are very, they're very brutal and very fair, and that's why it feels like Dark Souls. Like if you die, it's because you mess up. And it's I think it's more that the roguelike genre precipitated Dark Souls, rather than the other way around.
Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, because we've had roguelikes for ages.
Yeah, that's true.
For ages and ages. Like they go all the way back to NetHack, which didn't even have graphics. And but for what's the word for
Dark Souls.
Yeah, for Dark Souls, that synthesis of action adventure with roguelike was something that hadn't been done yet.
Yeah. To be fair, I think Dark Souls is really just a roguelike for the masses. If that doesn't sound like bad, but like yeah, I think I get what you mean.
And I haven't found that Dark Souls is super hard. It's just like it's just lethal. Like there's no enemies that you don't have to. There's no enemy that can't kill you in Dark Souls. And I think that's but there are enemies that but there are also no enemies that you can't just learn their moveset and beat them either. So I think it's fair in both senses. And it's a lot like it reminds me more of the classic video games. You know, back in the day when video games first came around, we had like Castlevania and Mario Brothers and all these games that didn't have save features or passwords. You had to beat the game all in one go, and if you got game over, you had to go back and start. And so, as kids, we were playing these games and just trying to push through these levels that were very, very difficult, even at the end game. And it takes a level of skill to beat Mario Brothers that I think even most gamers today don't have. And anyway,
yeah, I can tell you for.
But Dark Souls is much easier than Mario Brothers, much easier to beat than Mario Brothers.
It,
And you can grind progress if you have to, so you'll get to the end. But in Mario Brothers or Castlevania, there's no grinding progress. You win. You finish the game in one continue, or you don't. In Gungeon, the way they do this is they give you the hegemony credits, and so you get when you beat bosses, you get credits. After you die, you can take your credits back to the hub, and you can unlock new gear. And in other games like this, sometimes you can unlock new characters and stuff too. But those give you the sense of permanent progression that you need.
That make the dungeon eventually easier. I mean, like, it's not easier in the sense that, like, your characters get bonus stats, but like you said earlier, right, it just makes the pool of items better, so...
Well, it makes the pool of items better. I think there's a psychological thing to it, too, because when you die, you're never happy about dying, but the fact that you get something new, or you get something cool, or you cash out when you die, instead of just losing it all, makes it you... Like, say, like Mario Brothers, you get to World 7 and you die. And you're like, well, this is dumb. I'm done. Like, I spent like 2 hours getting to World 7, and I don't want to do that again. But with a game like Gungeon, you get down to World 3, you get like 7 hegemony credits. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I died in World 3, but I've got 7 credits. Oh man, I can get this new gun. I want to go back in and try it again. So instead of leaving you on that low note, it picks you up right at the end. It gives you a big pickup and a reason to want to play again immediately. And that's the same thing, that's in Dark Souls too. Like the fact that your souls stay on the ground gives you a reason to immediately go back and try again. And so I think that is the major innovation of these modern games over the original ones, is the psychological aspect, giving the player a reason to immediately try again and not just quit.
Alright, so that pretty much does it for our Game Club segment this week. Enter the Gungeon. If you guys are interested, with anything we talked about, consider getting it for yourself. I highly recommend the game. Brad, do you highly recommend the game?
And consider leaving us a comment telling us what you think about these games, because we're just two guys with opinions. But we want to hear what you're thinking about as well. Especially with Dark Souls, it's a game everybody has an opinion on.
Yeah, we should talk about Dark Souls.
Of course, recommend both of these.
We should talk more about Dark Souls on another Game Club. But
we should.
Yeah. So let's move on to our character of the week, and we have a very interesting special tie-in character of the week for this week, because we just recently, just name dropped Seventh Cross. So let's talk about Seventh Cross characters. Brad, our character of the week this week is Minato, but I don't know what his last name is. So
the Seventh Cross characters actually don't have last names at this point, and I don't know if they'll get them. It's just conventions of the story that the different settings. So in Indians, last names are a thing. In Seventh Cross, maybe I want the characters to just be about their more basic identities. So I didn't include last names for everyone.
All right. So Minato, So Brad, talk to us about Minato. Okay, so there's two sides of this
Yeah.
character. What really inspired this character's design? And I think there's something that I realize about characters in Seventh Cross, especially when it comes to their names. So most of the characters in Seventh Cross have names and are of the race that their demon form's mythology comes from, right?
Yeah. Well, let me give some background on Minato first. So this is a character who can summon ghostly planes, trains, and automobiles from hell in order to attack his enemies. So, he basically fights by throwing a car at you, a ghost car at you.
Best.
And that's like different variations of that are his moveset. He has a boat, he has a couple planes, he has a train, he has a San Francisco streetcar, all these different kinds of vehicles.
My favorite.
And the monster that he's connected to is a Japanese yokai called Oboroguruma, which is a yokai that traditionally possesses vehicles and uses them to run over people in order to seek vengeance for past misdeeds. So, like when a runaway cart would kill somebody in the street, people would say, "Why'd that happen?" And they'd say, "Oh, it was possessed by Oboroguruma."
Oh, okay.
And
I think Oboroguruma translates to like demon cart, right?
and that's where the myth comes from. So I felt the power was a little bit goofy, but I really liked this piece of obscure history, and I especially wanted to make the Seventh Cross monsters more obscure. I didn't want to do werewolves and vampires. I wanted to do more unique varieties of monster.
Mm-hmm. I think my favorite thing about Minato is that like he can just summon almost any vehicle known to man. And I think my favorite attack of his is the one where he summons like a jumbo jet and he just crashes it into you. I mean, like, come on, it's a giant Airbus, and it's just like.
Yeah. Well, I think the strangest thing about that is that it takes place in like the series Seventh Cross takes place in like early 1930, and so the Airbus isn't really a big thing at that period in time.
Right. So wait,
but he gets one anyway.
Continuity problems, yeah. Brad. Does this mean Minato's from the future?
There's I don't know what I'm gonna say. He has a move called Jump the Shark. So maybe after jumping the shark, he lands on the jumbo jet from the future and hits you with it.
All right. See, this character is honestly making me really love this game series because I think Minato's because Minato has all the trappings of what would essentially be a joke character, right? Because he summons cars and stuff, and it's all funny. But he's such a serious looking character. And he's
like he takes himself seriously.
Yeah, he takes himself seriously. He's not a joke character. He doesn't even look funny. He looks pretty cool actually. So it's like he's like a character you'd see on Fate Stay Night or something.
That's just I think that's just Wicked Alucard, the artist. I think that's his joke character looks like that, and he just can't turn off the cool.
You just can't. So it's kind of like when Nokometo can't turn off the cute. He can't turn off the
something
cool.
like that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's true. So in the greater world of Seventh Cross, what like Minato, does he work with the church? Is he against the church? How does
So Minato is a Yakuza member. And he was like a small time gangster. And he met this demon, Turnalus, and the demon gave him this artifact, which was a set of keys that allowed him to summon Oboroguruma. And so he started using this to like stage crimes to kill off his superiors in order to move up the ladder, and control the Yakuza scene in Japan. And so now he's become really powerful in that scene. But the demon comes back and says, "I need you to to do me these things now that you have power." And so now he gets wrapped up in this plot, mainly because of Tornalus. So his story is more in terms of the other story, or in terms of the Tornalus and Zolt's story. That he kind of gets wrapped up in that whole arc as a member of the villain party in the story.
All right. So let's stray a little bit away from story and lore and a little bit more into mechanics, especially since we're talking about Exceed here, which I don't think. Well, Seventh Cross Exceed isn't out yet, so people haven't really touched Minato. So let's talk about Minato's mechanics.
Well, we did. Well, before I get to that, I will say we did open organized play online. So if you want to try this character and the rest of the Seventh Cross cast, check out our organized play site and join the play online button, and you can come visit our official Discord chat, download modules for Tabletop Simulator, and play the games with us and with other fans from around the world, and try out these characters for yourself.
And in doing so, you accrue points that you can then use to get awesome loot.
Fabulous prizes!
Ooh. Brad, tell them what they're gonna get. It's like showcase, and you're like posing.
There's a bunch of promo cards. I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but you can check it out on the website.
We're just gonna link you to it.
There's cool stuff. Yeah.
So, speaking of Minato, I actually played this character yesterday, and he was a lot of fun.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah. So tell me about the game feel you were going for this character.
Yeah. So Minato is if you've ever played Magic and you've ever played a dredge deck, it's like a whole different game because the cost of everything gets so warped by the dredge ability that you can really just like play anything. And so that's kind of what Minato is like. He's like a dredge deck for Exceed. All of his costs can be paid by removing cards in your discard pile from the game
instead of using cards in your hand, right?
Yeah. Or even cards in your gauge. He can pay gauge from his discard pile too, which means he can throw out supers on turn 2 and not even care. But it's expensive because you only have 30 cards in a deck of Exceed, and sealed cards are public information, so you are giving a lot of info to your opponent. So it's a dangerous, slippery slope, and it kind of fits with his character too. So he builds up this power, and he can move really quickly. He can get access to pretty much unlimited cards with the change cards action. He has so much stuff that he's able to do, and he can do stuff so much faster than you. But he burns out really quickly,
really fast.
And his final transformation allows him to just get rid of his entire discard pile and convert it into power, so that he can do 1 or 2 big last hits
before he fizzles out and then loses the entire deck.
Yeah. And it's easy to shoot yourself in the foot, especially with like when you're trying to pull off his final finisher super, Hellward Bound. So this card costs like 6 gauge, but if your deck and your discard are both empty, it's free. So
Seal
that's a thing
everything.
that a lot of people try to do in order to win with Minato.
Yeah, I took a more measured approach with him. I mean, like, because I didn't want to run out of resources. I think when I was playing him, what I was looking more into doing was, instead of like, sealing the entire deck and doing the slippery slope thing, I was actually sealing specific cards. I was like, I would boost and play specific cards on top of the discard so that when I used my ability, they would get sealed. And essentially, I would thin the deck so that the deck would only be comprised of the strongest cards Minato had, or the strongest normals if I wanted them,
Yeah, and if you can do it that way, it's a very, very strong way to play. He's a really fun character, and I'm really happy with the way he came out. He was originally going to be released as part of Red Horizon, but
really?
we didn't hit those stretch goals. Yeah, that kit originally belonged to Sebastian from the first Kickstarter, and we didn't hit those stretch goals, so we didn't get to get him. But now that I've refined the character and changed it around a lot and put in the transformation mechanics and made Minato, he feels a lot more solid than he did as a Season 1 character. So I'm very happy with the new version of the character.
Yeah, and the transforms are just really fun. Like, they're really fun to play with, and I really like them. Minato's fun.
Yeah, and the powers are cool. Like the car's power. I wanted to give Sebastian that power, and then the guys at Jasco were like, no, he creates clones of himself. I'm like, oh, that's not nearly as cool. So I'll just make my own character that can summon cars.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did.
Cars power, dude. Like, no offense to Lucia's design or her power set, but like when I have to pick between summoning lightning and summoning cars, I think we all know who wins.
Yeah. Also, whenever you do your exceed, you could be like, and now I turn into a car, and it's there's always a laugh there.
Shape of a car. Wonder Twin. Yeah, and I'm not sure if you did this on purpose, but I know you know Japanese, so this has to be somewhat on purpose that you named this character Minato.
I think it's subliminal. I think because because you reminded me of it, and I looked it up, and it's actually Minato translates to harbor in Japanese. That was probably subliminal. I wasn't thinking of it at the time.
Oh my gosh.
But the person name Minato is actually spelled a little bit differently. But then harbor. But it's true. It's pronounced the same way.
It's like look. All you told me was that you're a subliminal punner, and that's even worse than being a conscious punner. You know that, Brad, right? You know that.
I don't. You just can't help myself.
You can't help yourself, Brad. You need help. If you can't help yourself, I'll help you. Do it consciously, because who doesn't want to make puns? Puns are great. They're like the cheapest form of comedy that everyone can appreciate.
Yeah, like in the that's cheap sense, in the Street Fighter sense of cheap.
Yeah, in the Street Fighter, like fireballs. They're like the fireballs of comedy.
I see.
Oh, goodness. And that pretty much does it for our character this week. If you guys like Minato or want to learn about any of our very wonderful Level 99 games characters, do tell us in the comment section down below, and, we'll get to them at some point. And let's move on to some 99 questions that are slowly approaching 99 questions, this being episode 14, so that's...
So, 40 through 42.
That's pretty awesome, actually. I'm flabbergasted at how many we've gone through, and we'll eventually stop being untruthers. At least I will stop.
I'm flabbergasted that you would use the word like flabbergasted in casual conversation.
Oh.
That's flabbergastus.
Well, don't be flabbergasted, Brad.
Why don't you flabbergast me with some of these questions?
All right. Is flabbergast a kind of ghost? Anyway. Let's go.
Well, I don't know. I gotta look that up.
I guess you're flabbergasted. Anyway, what's your favorite?
I gotta make a character whose monster form is the flabbergast.
Do it. I dare you. Do it and release it as like promo. So, what is your? I think this question's for me. What's your favorite game published by Level 99 Games that Brad didn't design? I guess you can talk about what game you like that you didn't design. So this was why I was asking you earlier before recording if you designed Power Play or not, because that's my favorite Level 99 Games game that's not made by you. Power Play. It's Power Play.
Well, thanks. I know a designer who's not me who will be very happy to hear that. Power Play is a really cool game. I don't know if it's my personal favorite because I don't do so much of the RPGs, but in the storytelling games. But it is a super good game. Let's see, my favorite that didn't design. I think it's probably got to be Argent because I really like the. I really enjoyed the final production of Argent.
Oh.
That game, when I pull it out, I feel proud of myself every time I look at it.
Harry Potter Simulator is a great game.
Yeah. and I know it's really good. It's a really inspiring game for Trey, the designer, as well. And he liked it so much that he wanted to work with us again on other stuff, and so he's pitched me a couple more games. And we're going to be coming out with another game by Trey later this year.
Trains.
Called Imperial Spells and Steam, which is a train game.
Is
and
train
the development
spelled
title
Treyn?
No, yeah, that was the development title was Trains with a Treynz.
Oh no.
And that was what Noko called it, and what it became stuck with. And she's the lead artist for this one as well, because I think Trey and Noko have some good chemistry. They like to insult each other online, back and forth.
That's good chemistry. What?
Yeah.
What generation are we living in, Brad? We're insulting each other's good chemistry.
No, they have a lot of fun. They both enjoy the projects.
All right.
And it was a good time for me as well.
Man, Okay, I can't wait to see more about this train game because I like trains and then I get run over by one. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, this one's the big one, Brad. The hammer. What is the
Okay.
status of yet to be delivered Kickstarter projects like BattleCon Online and Trials of Indians?
So for BattleCon Online, we actually posted an update yesterday. We're working on a new client because, frankly, the old client just didn't look really good. It was my unprofessional graphic design, and now we have a professional graphic designer on the team, and so she's redesigning the interface. The server is all done for BattleCon Online, and so really we just have to build this new visual end and plug in the graphics. I anticipate that we'll be back in beta within another month or two, and hopefully we'll come out with it this summer.
You said it on the podcast, Brad. It has to be true now.
Yeah, well, it's been really tough. BattleCon Online, we had to learn how to make a video game, and that necessitated making like 2 video games and then scrapping and starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And so it has been a really long process, but I really appreciate everyone who's waited with us through it. And BattleCon Online is going to be something really special. I'm not going to settle for less just to have the project done. We're going to do it right.
We're going to do it right. And how about Trials?
Trials is at press. It's being printed as we speak, along with the promotional characters, which are in progress now. So that's all happening. What else for Trials? That's really kind of
Yeah.
it. Like the BattleCon formula is kind of down pat at this point. So Trials will be put together and will come out soon. And the new variants are in there and tested. We got a rule book. We got a separate character guide from the rule book, which is a nice innovation. It's going to be really cool, but it's still BattleCon, so it's still kind of exactly what it says on the tin. You will get what you expect out of BattleCon Trials.
It's like coming home to your bed and like laying in bed with your same old blanket. That's what BattleCon is.
Which is also covered in board games.
Yes.
Yep.
Of course. What else would it be covered in?
But yeah, we're pretty happy with Trials. At this point, it's a little bit behind schedule because of the extra proofreading we had to do, but that always happens with BattleCon because it's such a complex game, and we want to make sure all the pieces get put together right.
Yep.
So it goes. And then I think those are actually the only 2 projects that we have unfulfilled at the moment.
Which is actually pretty good, considering you guys have been 10, 15?
We're paring down. Yeah, so Exceed 2 is our 15th project.
Man.
But we're trying not to do so many. Like, even though we only have 2 Kickstarter projects outstanding, we have like 5 games coming out in the next quarter. And that's all because, it's been successful enough that we don't have to kickstart every single thing we do anymore.
And that's pretty awesome. But 7th Cross Exceed, back it, because I'm backing it.
Yes, please back it. We're making this really cool deluxe edition. It's going to have a big outside box, playmat. We want to do an art book. We want to do a big poster inside. Extra characters, all this stuff. So please back the project, help us hit some of those goals because we got a lot of really cool stuff planned for Exceed 7th Cross.
All right. And last question. So, what are our plans for Pixel Tactics Online?
Yeah, so we are working on Pixel Tactics Online. It's being developed by a team in Australia. Lead illustrator Fabio Fontes has been doing all the animations and sprites. It's really cool. We have a public alpha that's available through the Discord chat. If you really want to get into that, you can talk to Ithri, but we will be opening a public beta to the general public very soon. So if you wait another month or 2, you'll actually just be able to play it without asking our permission, which is also pretty cool. But yeah, Pixel Tactics Online looks so good. It's so cool. And now that it's finally kind of come full circle and we've got a real solid video game team, that's the team that's going to be taking over BattleCon Online and working on our new client end. So that we've got somebody who's really experienced in video games and graphics who's now going to be taking over that project and leading it to victory.
Okay, and that finishes our segment for our 99 questions, which we're slowly approaching 99 questions, and we will eventually get there. And finally, let's move on to our last, but definitely not the least segment, our News 99. Brad, do you have any interesting Level 99 games news for us, or even maybe news that isn't Level 99 games that is tangentially related to Level 99 games?
Well, we have some brand new product announcements. I'm not specifically sure when they're going to go up, so I don't want to say they've already gone up or what they are, but if you're reading this or if you're listening to this, check out the blog section, the main blog section on the site, and look for new game release announcements, because we've got some really exciting ones for you for games that are coming out this summer. Second of all, for the news, we have reopened organized play.
Yes.
So you can now go to battleconnection.com, register. You can become an organizer. You can run events, record the wins at your events. And one of the things we're doing this season is we're offering online league play. So if you want to play in our organized play league, you can go online. You can download the Tabletop Simulator modules or the BattleCon spreadsheet module, and you can play against fans around the world that you meet on our Discord server. And then you fill out a Google form, put in your match results, and Marco will be your event organizer and will register all that stuff in our database and get you points.
Yay! And those points can net you, as we said earlier, awesome prizes like alternate costumes, HD pixel tactics art, and, alternate costumes for Exceed and BattleCon characters. Here's the thing, though, that might not be very clear, is that regardless of what game you're playing, you're accruing points for the same set of prizes. So if you just play Exceed all throughout, you'll get BattleCon promos and Pixel Tactics promos. Same goes if you just play BattleCon all throughout, or Pixel Tactics all throughout, or play a combination of either. All the points accumulate to the same set of prizes. So, don't feel intimidated that you won't get the biggest bang for your buck, because you will. And a lot of people have been telling me that they don't want to get into organized play because they feel like they're not good enough, or that they're not good enough at the games. Guys, it's not a tournament. It's just organized play. Long story short, it's basically like pickup basketball. It's not something that you really have to be a pro at, but like you go there, you have fun, you play some games with people who enjoy the games you enjoy. It's as simple as that, right, Brad?
Yep, pretty much. Just have fun, play games, get prizes. That's our motto. Actually, it's play games, have fun, get prizes. I think do them in that order. If you're having fun before you play the game, then what value are we really adding?
Any other news, Brad? Any other news?
Nope. Just our new contest is up. And I'll let you tell about that. So if you want to introduce our contest for April, which will extend a little bit into May because we're getting a late start on it. So this will probably be our April/May contest.
Our April/May contest is a very, very interesting contest where how do we say this? Is it like an April Fool's joke because it's Millennium Blades, or not?
No, not particularly.
Okay, so it's not an April Fool's joke, guys. Our contest is going to be a create your own card Millennium Blades contest. And it's really interesting because we're starting to branch out from all of these BattleCon contests that we've been doing. So Millennium Blades, create your own card, get us some wacky memes, wacky effects, because we all know you guys love memes. And I guess the grand prize is going to be the very, very venerated position of being the proud owner of some store credit. And I think we're going to release your card for public print and play as well, right?
We'll release any cards we can. Obviously, if you use a character that's or an artwork that's not an original thing, then we wouldn't be able to print it. But as of the original stuff, we'll probably share them as print and plays at least.
Yeah, we'll share them.
I don't know exactly how the showcase is going to work out for this one, but we will show off as much as we can of the entries we get.
Yep. And it's going to be fun because I love guessing memes. So that pretty much does it for our episode of the Level Cap podcast. I hope all of you guys enjoyed listening to Brad and I shoot the bird. Wait, no, that's wrong. Shoot the breeze?
Shoot the breeze, yeah.
Okay.
Shoot the breeze. Shooting the bird is like drinking wild turkey or something, I guess.
Okay. So, this is what language barriers do. So
it's a whiskey brand.
Okay. I don't know. And I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us. And if you aren't enjoying listening to us, well, that's your problem. You have a responsibility in enjoying our podcast.
Well, I wouldn't put it that far. It's our humble pleasure to entertain you.
Yes, yes. We are merely your humble entertainers, and we hope you were entertained. Are you not entertained? Please tell us in the comment section down below, because we would love to know if you were actually entertained by our podcast. Well, without much else to say, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Have a good week.
Bye!